Hello! This came through when I was asking what is the highest good for the channel, what should I be sharing, what is something that needs to be heard, and it was just this beautiful recap of information so that you can hear it for like a deepening and a remembrance that really everything is a game. We agreed to come here. This is life. This life is being played by us, which we are watched over at all times. Our soul is entwined and coming through us. This is what brings us alive, that part of us. It's source energy in human form. The divine is within us, the God shining through the whispers that we hear. Our ability to see in this reality with our human eyes, scientists have shown that we see a spectrum of light, but what we see is 0.0035% of reality. That's it. So that means we don't see far, far, far more than we do, which is why so much is reliant upon faith in the non-physical side. And when we have to have faith, when we're in alignment and act from a knowing, that knowing is of the percentage, the large percentage that we don't see. And it's with this faith and knowing and holding the frequency of what we desire, acting in faith and having fun, being full of joy, in alignment with source energy, with our higher selves, with God, that we really step into I am. And we really step into the powerful statements, because our words, this frequency is emitted from our body, from our heart. Our thoughts, our emotions, they send out vibrations from our brain, and then with elevated emotion, the heart is like a magnet calling it back. We're in heart-brain coherence. This is when we make our thoughts, our beliefs, our intentions, our expectations, our knowing, this is what we call into our life. This is what we're a frequency match for. These things emitted from us come back. What we are inside is what we see reflected in our reality, in our frequency. We attract what we are, and we attract what we judge until we no longer judge it. And part of it in life is learning certain lessons. You could never learn the deepest layers of unconditional love without experiencing the deepest layers of conditional love, of experiencing that shadow side of it, to really feel into it and then swing back and learn the other side of the pendulum. Some of my greatest joys and loves are from my deepest moments of suffering and pain. And after you transmute it and alchemize it and take this like burning down feeling of your life and you bring it within, and it lights this fire, and you see what it was for, and you feel into what you've learned from it and where you've come from, it's the best thing that ever happened to you. Arguably, you could easily say that. I could easily say that about any of the things that previously I was in victim mentality explaining that it's the worst thing that ever happened to me, is now I see the biggest, deepest catalysts for the most growth. So what we're experiencing, this is us. This is our computer program running in the subconscious mind. We have our 5% conscious mind, which is beta brain, which is what we're thinking from. And then we have our subconscious mind with all of our programs, a lot of which we don't even know are in there until we can access them through deep meditation or auditing what's crossing in front of our lens and what's showing up in our reality. Because you can look at the results. You can just go straight to the results and interact with your subconscious mind from there. So what you experience in your reality around you is a result of the code in the subconscious. You see what you are. You don't see what you want. Listen to that. You don't see always what it is that you want. Sometimes what you are and what you want will overlap, but you see what you expect to get, what you expect, what you believe. It's what you think repeatedly. It's a series of repeat thoughts that turn into beliefs, and your subconscious believes them as true, and that is what parades around you. So as belief, a belief that your subconscious knows as true. So that means change your mind, change your life. When we audit our thoughts, our beliefs, our desires, our knowing, our expectations, when we audit these things in our life, what we expect, we change the game. The audit helps us learn to control our focus. Because where you put your focus is where you put your attention. And where you put your attention is where energy goes. And where energy goes, energy flows. Like, that is the name of the game. Your focus and attention is so powerful. It's why advertisers pay millions of dollars for a second of your advertising, because you see their logo, you know it, it's imprinted, and then you subconsciously attract it into your life, and then they make way more money than they paid for that millions of dollars for that second ad. Your focus is everything. And that's why meditation puts you back into the driver's seat, giving you control over your focus. It's literally the path to ride the best game of your life. So this audit helps us learn to control our focus. And if we control our focus, we're in the driver's seat. We can audit our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations, and we can really change your mind, change your life. When we release what doesn't serve us, and when we release what doesn't serve us, listen to that. That's when we change our reality. Then we can know where we want to go, and we can imagine it, and we can feel it with that elevated emotion like it were real. Just like we pray for the things we don't want by worrying. We imagine it. We feel that elevated emotion of worry, and we call those things into our life that we're trying to put the press on. And then when we put the press on them, we're putting attention on them, and we're elevating the emotional state, and we're increasing the frequency, and we're attracting more of it. So where you focus is where you call things into your life. And by removing the blocks in the subconscious and removing the attachment to things that you don't want and letting them pass through you, they're all elevation moments. So if we can experience it, back to what we were talking about with faith, having faith and holding the vision, the knowing of what we are capable of living in life that you desire. So if we know it and we expect it, then the final aspect is we see it. We see the 0.0035% of it in our reality, which is the game. It's seeing that tiny percentage and thinking that everything is limited and this is everything, when we are everything. We are unlimited. When we are in meditation, the feeling of the divine with us, connecting to the non-physical field through a variety of ways, one of which is meditation. There's like astral travel and out-of-body experiences. So many options are available to experience the divine. And they all come back with the realization that you want for nothing, because you are whole. And this is why we create from this place, and it's so powerful, because we remember our frequency and we let go of all of the wanting of the things and all of the blocks, because we have it, and we realize that the non-physical, that plane of existence, is where we create from, and then we experience it in the 3D physical instead of forcing and creating from here. Our attention is on everything, and everything is in faith. And we are in that space of faith for what we don't see. We are in heaven and bliss and in knowing and wrapped in love. In meditation, that feeling of the divine wrapped around you and like that lifting feeling and the white lights, like if you ever experience it, it's just like tears of joy and feelings of beauty and deeper love than you've ever experienced. It literally is like, gives me goosebumps to think about. So we're here. We have the 0.0035, I think that's what it is, percent of reality that we're seeing and we're focusing on, and we're complaining about it and focusing on it. And what are we going to get more of? We're going to get more of what we focus on and complain about. Complaining strengthens the neural pathways in your mind and your ego. See, I was right. I knew that was going to happen. Of course you knew it was going to happen. You create your reality, but you're innocent. You're not trying to be annoying. You're acting from the entire point of the game, what we came here for. So when you start to realize it and how it's played, none of us got instructions. Some of us come in knowing the instructions, but others have to learn it just like we are. And then you realize, of course I was right all of those times. Of course, because we create our reality. And what our subconscious believes is what we expect, and that's our experience. So I ask you, you want to change your life? Do you want to step into the unknown? Or do you want to like throw dog treats to your ego and like let it be right? Like, good boy. We choose. Are you ready to step into the dark nights of the soul, into letting the ego die, into letting what you knew die? Because looking at the polarities under the hood of our avatar, like I was talking about with conditional love and unconditional love, and fear and love, and there's every polarity is the same frequency, just to varying degree. If you are in a state of fear, adding more love, or if you're in a state of hate, adding more love will get you out of that. It's the same frequency. So for your avatar, if we begin seeing the fear-based limiting beliefs, because when you find that courage to just step into the unknown, you see on the other side that there is no death. After being brave enough to walk toward it and know that you will be okay, because anything is better than being unconscious, and this is a very personal choice. If you're not here, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I don't even know what she's talking about, it doesn't make any sense. You're perfect. You're innocent. You're right where you're supposed to be. There's something about this that attracted you, and maybe it's to hang a little hook of information for later, because this information is going to be coming to you and you'll just have somewhere to put it and organize it into a box for later when your current reality and beliefs aren't working, and you open that box and then play with it. Or maybe this is exactly what you needed to hear, because this is right where you're at and you're having to do this shadow work and realizing that nobody is just in the light, that we are equally in the dark, and looking at those sides of us that we've denied and stepped down honestly and letting them ride, and realizing that you're innocent, and just removing the energy behind them so that you don't attract that, and stepping into what you do attract. But anything is better than being unconscious. I'd wake up over and over and over again. No matter how much work it is, once you wake up to tend to your vibration, it's the coolest, most amazing, powerful, incredible thing I've ever experienced. It's like one of the first time you watch like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, and you're like, oh my gosh, that like other world felt so incredible and so real. Like when I watched Lord of the Rings, I was like, I really felt like there were elves in the world. Like I was like, it so sucked me in. And that's kind of like this reality. Like we're so sucked in that we forget who we are and where we came from and what we're capable of, and that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. And so allowing yourself to keep remembering and waking up, there's something absolutely incredible about it. Seeing that the illusion of life, and not just was it fake, but then once you pass through and you have the death of the ego, there's rebirth into your true power and your nature, that it's unlimited and expansive and ultimate and joyful, and there's just non-physical all around us interacting, which knows no end. It's just this incredible epic game that blows your mind over and over and over, and just pays dividends and rewards over and over and over. It gets to be so good the deeper you go. I'm not the teacher, I'm the student. I'm right here with you, and sharing keys and codes and frequencies, because that's what I was guided to do. And it will unlock for you what it needs to unlock. It'll create a peg if it needs to create a peg, and it will create thoughts and ideas and inspiration. And maybe there's something I said that makes you think of something, and then you go and you look up something else, you find exactly what you needed. And that is just the game of it. This life is just epic and fun, and dive into it and find what you're meant to learn, and look at repeat patterns in your life. Oh, the patterns are huge when you start being conscious enough and awake enough long enough that you start seeing repeat patterns that we're experiencing that seem so obvious, like absolutely obvious. And how were you ever unconscious to this pattern, and reliving it and complaining about it? It's just fun and joyful and light, and you trade in victimhood for love and empowerment, and you wouldn't want any other way. So enjoy playing your game, enjoy where this leads. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the other side of this conversation, and for passing it along when you think of somebody, because that is your intuition. It's not an accident. The internet can be a really quiet place, and it doesn't have to be. It can be a place for community and a place to gather, and we are not alone. So with that, I want to invite you to respond to my offering and share something in the comments to brighten somebody's day, share an epiphany. It will get where it needs to go. And if this video is valuable to you, give it a like so I know what kind of content is most enjoyed. And I just hope you have an incredible